Meanwhile, those millions of senior citizens paid their taxes since they were born, well, since they started working. The veterans saved us for freedom and all these things. Let the suckers pay their taxes. Meanwhile, you, GE, you don't have to pay any taxes because you made so much money now that you got all these loopholes and you find ways not to pay taxes in America. And then I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're not only going to make sure you don't have to pay any taxes, but in addition to that, since we got these suckers, 52% of the American people, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give you $1 billion. You made $100 billion, let's give you an extra $1 billion to top it off and even it out to $102 billion. That's what's going on in America. So with this debt limit, this debt ceiling, and talking about we got to get our fiscal house in order, you know what you need to do, American public, Pittsburghers? You need to call Congress. You need to not only call them this week, but every week. And you need to start getting informed, and my show helps you with that. You need to get angry, but you need to get smart. And I want you to call them and start realizing what's really going on. Because the American people should not lose one entitlement. The American people should not, the 52% should not be paying the entire burden to keep this country running because they are paying twice. They're double dipping on the 52%. What do I mean by double dipping? Well, let's figure this out. We are the ones who keep the country running. We are the ones who work our butts off, excuse my language. You and even Carl, who is the technician in back, he's one of our techs. Carl and Zach, who's an intern, they're working to earn a living, to survive, to pay bills. So they're working, and on top of that, they're being double taxed. So, yeah, I got a big problem with President Obama. I got a big problem with the Democratic Congress. I got a big problem with the Democratic Senate. And I got an extremely big problem with the Republican House and Senate when they say we need to reduce our spending. No, we don't. What we need to do is make every corporation in America pay taxes and pay their fair share of taxes to boot. They don't deserve a free ride. And the 48% of the Americans that aren't paying any taxes, most of them are either wealthy or super wealthy. But let me throw this at you. Our economy is in recession, or was, according to most people. Did you know that we have more millionaires now in America than we ever did before? And did you know that last year, on average, the millionaires that are in this country, on average, their income and net worth grew by 10%. So if we're in such bad shape, how is it that we have more millionaires and that we have more millionaires that made an extra 10%? So my friends, you're being lied to. And that's why I do what I got to do. Yes, it's politically a major risk for me. Professionally, a major risk for me. And there are so many levels where I shouldn't be doing this. It can even be physically dangerous. So why am I doing it? I'm doing it because I guess you could say I'm an anomaly. I actually believe the Constitution. I actually believe that we should work to unite this country. And it don't matter what you have politically, Democrat, Republican, we should be working for the betterment of every American. There should not be one disabled American who can't either earn an income or be able to save money for their future. There should not be people, such as the people working at PCTV, who work their entire life and then at the end, like when they're getting ready to retire, maybe not have anything. This is disgusting. So I'm calling on every member of Congress to quit lying to the public, to take the $100,000 pay cut, and to demand that there is a taxation on these 48% of Americans and every corporation. You noticed in the news, the Republicans said they would not take a tax increase. Fine. That's okay. If you don't want a tax increase, at least make every corporation that does business in America pay their fair share. And the 48% that somehow aren't paying any taxes, at least make them pay something. Because that would literally be hundreds of billions of dollars in the tea kettle. You see, America, as I said, you're being lied to. You're outright being lied to. And you need to know the truth. So, hey, I'm going to tell it like it is. Now, that's all I'm going to say. I will have more information next month on this debt ceiling, what it means to you, how it's going to hurt you or help you. But the bottom line is, we shouldn't reduce a penny in spending until every corporation is paying their fair share and until every person in America is paying something. Because why should the burden be on the 52% of Americans? Why should people who work and slave and almost die because of the hard work they're doing, why should they then be expected to carry this country financially? It's wrong. You're not going to find this out at academia, on any university. They generally are going to keep it quiet because they have too much to lose. Many of the people I want on my show won't deal with me because I'm too controversial. But you know what? I love America. I love humanity. And I'm not backing down. I know you want me to. The people out there would love to see me do that, some people. But I'm fighting for what's right. So let's see everybody start to call in, because now we're going to do something totally different. And we're going to talk about courage. And I'm waiting for viewers. I don't know if we're having technical issues or not. It may very well be that we are. Now, if for some reason we are having technical issues that I don't know about, I can assure you that a future episode will essentially be a rebroadcast of this episode. Because one way or another, we are going to talk about courage. We are going to talk about what Washington is doing wrong. Now, before we get into courage, I want everybody, Chris, Annette, and all of you, I really want you to get used to calling Congress. And in fact, calling GE. And ask the tough questions. Call them up. Make their staff answer this question. Why is it that GE? Here's the one question I want all of you to call. Every single one of you. This is just the one question. I want my sister Diane. I want everybody you know. Call up Congress tomorrow. Ask them the one question. Why is it that GE made $101 billion, didn't pay any taxes, and yet the government could afford to give them $1 billion back? If we have no money, if we have to raise the debt ceiling, and if we have to cut spending by $2.8 trillion, why do we have $1 billion to give to GE? Why do we have $30 billion to give to the oil companies? So call them up and ask either that question, specifically about GE. Why is it that GE made $101 billion, paid zero taxes, and ended up getting $1 billion, a whole billion, from the United States government? So I'm going to ask Chris, I'm going to ask Annette, I'm going to ask all of you, call them up. Now I'm also going to ask all of you to start writing to Congress, calling Congress, faxing Congress, and doing exactly what I've been telling you to do for about 3 or 4 years. That is how we're going to change this nation so that Carl and Zach and myself and Chris and Annette, we can all retire millionaires. I know you're about ready to think I'm on dope. I'm not. See, if we start changing things, we balance the budget, and we start having the deadbeats. GE is a deadbeat. Chevron, a deadbeat. Exxon, a deadbeat. Pharmaceutical, a deadbeat.
Healthcare industry
are deadbeats. So all these deadbeats that aren't paying anything into the system, let us legally and peacefully force Congress to make them pay. And then guess what? Your taxes are going to go a lot lower. My taxes, a lot lower. But it also means we will be able to afford to give people careers, educate them in careers, and make millionaires of a lot more Americans. I think Carl should be a millionaire. I think Chris should be a millionaire. I think Zach should be a millionaire. Dang it, I think Annette should be a millionaire. I know I should be a millionaire.
I think so.
So let's, come on, America. Come on, Pittsburgh. We're the city of champions. Let's be a champion for what's right. Let's be a champion for justice. Let's be a champion for not only for the city of Pittsburgh, for the entire United States. Let's be a champion for the person who has a child who is starving in America because of the way the government ain't doing right. Let's be a champion. Let's make the Super Bowl champions be the Pittsburgh City of Champions again. Let's forget about the Steelers, the Penguins, the Pirates, Pitt, Duquesne, Robert Morris, and all those guys being champions, because they're going to be champions again. The Pirates are going to win a World Series. The Steelers are going to win their 7th, 8th, and 9th Super Bowls. And the Penguins are going to win their 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, or actually 4th, 5th, and 6th, 7th in the next 10 years or more. But let's have a championship for humanity. Let's have the humanity championship. So America, every single one of you, I mean every single one of you, your mother, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your uncle, start calling Congress tomorrow. Tell them Albert Torcaso asked you to ask them one simple question. If we are in so much debt, why did we give GE $1 billion when they made $100 billion in 2009? Come on, guys. You know the number? You know the number? 2. It's 1, 202, 223. I'm sorry. Okay, I made a blooper.
224.
It's 1, 202, 224, 3121. Call Congress tomorrow. Call Mike Doyle. Call Pat Toomey. Call Tim Murphy. Let's go ahead and call Senator Casey. In fact, you know what? Call the President of the United States. His number, the comment line, 202-456-1111. Call the White House. But you know what? If you don't do any of these things I'm asking you, we're not going to have a great future, America. We're going to harm our senior citizens. We're going to harm your children. We're going to get you probably not to have a good job. But if you want to see Carl become a millionaire, Zach become a millionaire, Chris, myself, and Annette become a millionaire, and yourself become a millionaire, then you need to do what I'm asking you to do. I know it's tough, but I'm a tough mother Frito. Okay, a mother corn chip. But at any rate, it's time to go about courage. Now, I'm kind of wondering if we're live or not. Could I get a yes, we are live from Carl by any chance? Can you give me a wave? Because I got a call from my sister, and I believe she said that we're not on the air. Is there any way we can find out? Anybody call in, guys? Call in if you see me. At any rate, we have to assume that we will be if we're not. So let's go ahead and everybody start calling
412-231-2288.
That's right. Now, about courage. Now, guys and gals, we need you. We need you. So we do have a call. So caller number 1, and that's going to answer your call.
Caller number 1, you're on.
Hello, caller 1. Oh, we don't hear no caller. Oh, we can't hear you. Caller number 1, going twice.
Caller number 1.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm not pleased with America right now. Not, dealing with this debt business. But let me ask you: are you calling about the debt, or are you going to tell us a story of courage?
No, I was just going to tell you that you actually are live on the air. You're just not live on the stream.
Okay, I am live on the air. Oh, okay, I know who this is.
That's Gladys.
It's Amazing Miss G's in the house.
I thought that was Gladys.
Amazing Miss G's in the house. She needs $1 million. Give Gladys $1 million. Give Gladys $1 million. Don't you deserve $1 million, Gladys? You worked your potatoes off. At any rate, thanks, Gladys.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I got to tell you about Gladys. Now that she called in, I got to tell you. Let me tell you something about Gladys now. she's worked at this company for a few years. I ain't gonna say how many, because I don't mess with nobody's age. I don't wanna have my hair pulled out, I don't have my slept. But let's just say she's worked here a few years. She has worked her potatoes off. And some of our former employees, like Kurt and Monica, and I don't know if Darlene's still here or not, but Darlene and a few others, you know, they've worked their potatoes off. Now, why should it be that Gladys and all these people here work extremely hard and have all this money in taxes taken out of their pocketbook, while 48% don't pay any taxes at all?
That ain't right.
That's beyond disgusting. I didn't know that until earlier this week. But the thing that gets to me is
That's
the
maddening.
most profitable corporations on earth. Many of them are in, not Pittsburgh, but a lot of them are in Pittsburgh, but many of them are in America. The most profitable corporations on earth, and 2 of every 3 pay 0 taxes. If you took the pharmaceutical, the oil, and the Walmarts of the world, and you just took those 3, do you know that would be at least $100 to $200 billion put back into our treasury every year? 100 to 200 billion. But yet, the Republicans in office aren't making them pay it. The Democrats in office tried, but then they caved in because they don't have courage. With exception, I do like what the president has said, and I do like he's pushing. And I do have to say, I do think that Mike Doyle has been working diligently, Congressman Mike Doyle. So there are good guys in there. I'm not saying there aren't good men and women in Congress, but they're being drowned out by the people who, let's just say, it doesn't financially benefit them to crack down on the super wealthy and the corporations. And I know all of you out there are probably thinking, well, that's the way it's always been. It ain't gonna change now, Albert. Wrong. Can I get me a wrong?
Wrong.
Wrong. Who owns this country, America?
We
do. If we get off our potatoes and call those numbers, protest legally, maybe have sick days, national boycotts, and make it like the 60s, 10 times over, then this economy would be put at a standstill. Wall Street would be in a supersonic panic. Every millionaire on earth would be going, what am I going to do? Because guess what? You have more power than the wealthiest person on earth. You may be the poorest person on earth. You have more power than the wealthiest person on earth, because they don't make a dime until you go out there to the fast food restaurant, until you go out there and buy your groceries, until you go out there and buy your clothes, until you go out there and pay the congressmen and women. So if you think that you are the powerless, what you are is misinformed. And you're misinformed because the mainstream media, they don't want you to know. Academia don't want you to know. Most people don't want you to know. They want to keep you anesthetized, put asleep, and thinking you have no hope. But you do have hope. But it starts by calling the White House. It starts by calling Congress and signing petitions and doing what you need to do legally and peacefully. And I guarantee you, I'll make you one promise. If you start doing what I'm asking you to do, you will see such a change in this nation that you will not recognize it. You will be shocked. Oh yeah, it will be physically the same if you ride down the West End Bridge in Pittsburgh.